Okay, cool. Great. So we're going to look a little bit taijutsu stuff. So just that little bit of ukemi work, just on the ground. So if you've got a hard ground, no problem. If you're on the grass, also no problem. It's going to be quite light. Just here. Great. That's onegaishimasu. Okay, good. Just coming down to the ground. 𝗵𝗵𝗀𝗀, just drop the camera a little bit. This is going to go from here, just going straight into this backward roll. Just down, use the hand. Just really get an idea back into the center. And really using this as a massage for the back. So doing a lot of weapon work, quite dynamic. Just use this as a kind of self-massage for the body. Really connecting the arms. Flexing the hips. And connecting the breath to the movement. So one of the great things, what I like about having tight forms is also you can really play within them. So in this case, there's a lot of things you can actually play with as you do it, even within a very strict form. Okay, just start to explore one thing, which is about where I put the head and where I put the vision. So just notice that if I kind of look behind, how I need to adjust the body to make that. I keep the head centered, how the body adjusts to that. Go a little bit to the side, maybe looking at the ground. How does the body adjust? How does the body adjust? How does the body adjust to that? And what I don't want to do is fragment the body. So I don't want to happen like something like that. It creates tension. Really with an idea that the whole body's going to go. Play a little bit with raising the hips off the ground as well. Very lightly. And play also with taking the roll, not just straight front and back, but also rolling with it. So taking it in semicircles, raising the hips off the ground. And you're going to find that what I find is that really the hands are the way I use to direct the body. Okay? Also play a little bit coming onto the knees, maybe very light, coming back down. Coming into maybe a crouch position, like a light squat, rolling down. Coming maybe into a press-up position, maybe doing a few press-ups. Back up. Maybe standing up every so often, coming back down. Really play with it. That's it. Very nice. Again, functional considerations. I want to be quite soft and supple as I do this. This is great. Working on a hard ground is nice. Really teach me where I'm supple, where I'm soft. Great. Okay, take a bokken. So you do now like this. Like this. So the bokken's in the hands, and now I can't really use the hands to do it. So you're just going to go back. Wait, don't hit the plant. Roll back. Roll with the bokken. So again, really free it up. You can also do it with one hand. You can also soften, just place the bokken down. I'm just going to roll. Maybe pick up the bokken. Maybe keep it in two hands. Maybe move around the space. Just play with the bokken. You can also put the bokken in the hands just like this. But just play with it. So you're just going to interact with it. Maybe put it down. Maybe move. Maybe roll. You can also do a forward roll with it. Really within your own comfort, and maybe a little bit outside of it. That's it. Sometimes just drop it. I really want to feel like I'm integrating the body, and then with the bokken too. There we go. There we go. There we go. That's it. Nice. Nice. Great. Okay, good. Great. Just stand up a little bit. just take a job. I'm going to go in and out of the weapons with this one. Good. Okay, this one is a mobility exercise just for the body. We've done this a few times with the not so recently. So just start with the hand on in contact with the jaw. And you're just going to move around the jaw like this. You're just taking the jaw down. It's going to stay in one spot, and you just move around the body with it. This is really mobility for the lower body, and a little bit of connection with the jaw, but very, very minimal. So I'm not really holding the structure in the arm at all. Just switch one hand at a time. Work with it. As much as possible, keep the jaw in one point. That's it. And just check where the body gets stuck. Where do I get caught? So I'm caught. How do I work the body so that it doesn't get caught? Notice how you transition between the hands. That's it. This is really just for mobility, so that's it. Yeah, take the jaw low. You can take it all the way to the ground if you want. Place the jaw on the ground, leave it, pick it up from the other side. And this, in this case, really not about the jaw. So the focus in this exercise is my own body. That's it. Okay. So one of the things Aikido goes to is how to get into the center of the thing and then manipulate from the center. So if you look at movements like Taina Henko, or especially movements like marrow to Dorikokiho, you're like getting into the center deeply with a supple way, and then I'm taking it away from the center. So Aikido teaches us to do this, which is basically what we tend to do is try and manipulate from the outside. So I try and do something like this. And this is where we go into like grasping. Someone attacks me and trying to manipulate from the, and a lot of what Aikido just teaches us is like how to get inside and go from that position. So if you think about all the blending where we do like 𝗖𝗵𝗴𝗴𝗴𝗏, 𝗁𝗏𝗏, 𝗖𝗵, this is really about getting right to the center of the thing and then working out. Center, working out. So just play a little bit with like the center of the body really merging in with the jaw. The body can really come in very, very close to the jaw. And then how do I use the extension to work the body? Again, this really requires a supple arms. And this is not something that the weapons will necessarily. This is a really specific skill. The weapon works useful, but in this case, a little bit of a different skill. That's it. That's it. That's it. Nice, Marcel. Very nice. Yeah. Great. That's it. Yeah, some of you going here already, so just go like this now. You're going to feel that you can come in. You can take the jaw from any position now, so you don't necessarily have to work it here. You can work it from here and then feel it automatically. What happens from that as I move, the jaw will start to roll out. Okay, and then just play with the jaw a little bit. Take it back down and then go to another thing. So play with, now basically you're working with two hands. That, I got jammed up. How do I not jam the body? And how do I work with it? So just play with like, the key to this is that you're not picking the jaw up, that you're raising it out of the ground through the body. Think about Arthur when he takes the sword out of the stone. You don't just pull it up with the arm like this. You've got to do it with everything. That's it. Yeah. Ah, okay, good. That's it. That's it. That's it. There we go. Very nice. Very nice. Yeah, and you'll find all those hasso movements, everything just starts to kind of come out maybe. Yeah. There we go. Very nice. Okay. Good. Okay, the next level, this is mainly just focusing on me and my action. So the next level is where I give the jaw a bit of autonomy. So I drop the jaw and I let the jaw go. So it decides what it does. So trying as little as possible to do something like that, or make it easy for yourself by like, that's really easy. Just put it up. I don't really watch the jaw. And then I just go with it and then take it back up. Try with this work a very light touch. What I don't want to do is this. Try and catch it. This is really throwing the body out of balance. So get a sense of something light where the center of the body's gonna roll with it. So it's very, very light contact. It should be very easy. Yeah. So just let the jaw go and follow it. And you're not trying to stop its descent. You're trying to just meet it as it goes down. You're not trying to catch it. Catching it's very easy. Yeah. That's it. Nice. Yeah. So two kinds of people. Watch this. First one, this is the more common is this. I watch what I'm doing with the hand. So I'm watching the hand. The second kind of person, they don't watch the hand at all. So they do something maybe like that. And this tends to happen because I lost contact with everything. So you'll get kind of feedback on this, but get the sense that while you're not watching the thing with the body, you are aligning to it. So the jaw is really important to this, but yeah, I'm not really watching the hand as I do it. This will really destroy the balance. And if I do something like this, I don't really know what's going on with the jaw. So keep a really thin. Now it's not impossible to go to that position and know where the jaw is. I've got the hand on it, but I don't want to pull the structure out and be like totally whatever with it. So get a sense that what you're doing is really interacting with the jaw on a kind of level where it's not the focus. I'm not really looking at the hand, but I'm also not forgetting about it. I'm really trying to include the jaw in my movement. And what you're really connecting with is the center. Center. But constantly the center of the jaw is really like that. That can be from the back, but it's a bit more tricky. Let's get a sense of that connection. And I'm not watching anything particular because I'm not really thinking about it. Just allow the body to meet it. This is much more about sensitivity than anything else. Try and feel a little bit like the jaw's a living thing, and I'm just kind of working with it. That's it, which needs a kind of light contact from me. That's it. Yeah, good. There we go. Okay, do the same now with the bokken. So just take the bokken, put the bokken down. You can put it either way. You might find it a bit harder if you put the tip on the floor, because the top's heavier, so it'll fall faster. So play with both sides, but you've got now a much shorter object. So do the same thing, but try and keep the same sense of subtlety. It's also much lighter. So feel the difference now in the sword, and also feel that you can raise the sword out of the ground. Put it back in. Play with a much lighter object now, so you've got much more. I need to be much more sensitive to the bokken. Oi, it's going to fall into the body, no problem. But again, just connect with it, center to center, and really let the bokken have a bit of freedom. Risk losing the bokken. No problem. There we go. No. You also feel you need to probably get a bit lower now. Yeah, this is like when you do training with children, you need to get a lot lower with the body. They're not going to get higher anytime soon, so you need to adapt.
Definitely.
There we go, yeah. Draw the bokken out. Yeah, that's it. That's it. Good. Okay, take the bokken and the jaw. So you go like this. Dum dum. Now you've got two. One hand, one hand. John's probably better at this than me, so I'm going to show John doing it probably. But go like this, and you really first just have one hand on one. So it's one hand one. Know that what you can do now is really interesting because you can also pass through both of them. So you can also pass the center through. So moving them, playing them around, rolling through them. So they're going to interact with each other, but know that the sides of the body are also different. So they're independent, working together. Independent, work together. Independent, but they're always going to maintain independence, even when they work together. That. Sometimes they work together like that. So you get snake style, like this. You get that. You will find now you will probably get a lot out of thinking mind. Get out of that and just go feeling, because I can't do anything else. Just gotta feel it, what's happening right now. What that? Try and keep the mobility. Watch yourself when you get tied up. Sometimes change the hands. Sometimes change the position of the bokken and the jo, so they're a bit wider. Tie the body up a little bit. Then you're going to ninindori. How's that? Just play with it. Sometimes take them out of the ground. There we go. Yeah. And just be careful now the body doesn't get tied up in knots. I really want to keep the body free. Very easy to now get knotted up. Okay, what? Okay, purposely knot yourself up. So what's this? And then really feel like, oh, where can I go? So stop, freeze. Wait a minute, where can I go? How do I get myself out of the knot? Now, I'm not going to get myself out of the knot by going further into it. Oh, shit. I need to actually find a way out. Oh, I made it worse. Stop. Made it worse. Stop. There. Now I'm free. So purposely put yourself in an awkward position. Knot yourself up a little bit and then unknot yourself. And you're really doing it to yourself now. So that's it. There we go. Yeah, good. There we go. Very nice. Very nice. Great. That's it. Yeah. Very nice, John. Great. Great. Nice. Right. You're going to do a similar thing now, but you're going to be off the ground with it. So I prefer to use a bokken because I've got low ceiling stuff around, so it's a bit of a shorter weapon. If you've got like a hanbo or a short jo staff, also a good thing to use. Or if you've got this heavy saburi bokken, also a nice thing to use. But what you're going to do now is a very similar thing, but you're going to just work the hands now. So you're just going to move around. Forget that it's a sword. Don't think about it like a sword. It's just a kind of stick. And this is why it's better sometimes to have a kind of short jo with it. But the sword's also interesting because it's got different aspects to it. So it's got the spine, it's got the thicker handle, it's got the pointy bit, it's got a curve in it. So it's also got qualities that I want to explore as I go through. And it's just now about, it's a little bit like when we do this jo work, like this. You've got all these kind of actions, and just explore a little bit this handwork transition. And the only rule is it needs to be the whole body to do it. So you can't just do it with the hand or the wrist. It has to be the whole body. So if I make a movement with the hand only, then I've broken one of the rules. So just keep that in mind. That's it. Nice. Yeah. And if you've got different objects around, just try different objects. So you can do this with anything. So you can take an object and I just play with it. It's got different qualities, different dimensions, different feeling. It's going to move totally differently. So it's just really about acting appropriately to the object. So it's going to move and just exploring. It's got a different kind of way, different kind of feeling. I need to grip it differently as I do it. So just play with anything you've got in the room. You've got those. You can really use anything. So, oh, these are also good. Be careful with these, but if you've got like glass bottles, wine bottles, really great. So you've got to be really careful with them. Eggs are also really great to use. Things that are fragile that you don't really care about breaking. But just get the sense that everything has a kind of quality. And my relationship to it is what we kind of work with in terms of Aikido work. How do I use it? Well, not how do I use it, how do I relate to it? You're not using it. Yeah, that's it. You can really do it. Yeah, paint cans. Yeah, exactly. Great. Yeah, anything. Yeah. Great. Yeah. So, great. Very nice. Yeah, great. Oh, there's lots of objects going around. Great. Yeah, very nice. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, great. Super. Right, so just drop all the objects, or whatever. Don't just drop them on your feet, but just put them aside. Now, you want to do, the main problem we've got with taijutsu or solo taijutsu work is that we've not got anything in the hands. But by its name, empty hand, that's the point. So the point is that I've not got anything in the hand. So especially difficult with solo work because I don't really know what I'm doing with it. Or I have an idea like the partner would work like this. So the best way for me with solo work is don't think so much about the partner. I actually don't think about the partner at all. I go really into this kind of work where I'm just thinking about my own structure and relating it into the space and relating it to the sword work that we do. That's kind of where I work the solo work. But it's a tricky area to work because, it gets very easily lost in fantasy. Because I can do anything and I can get away with anything and there's no real feedback to me. The feedback I've got is my sense of balance, my sense of moving from the center. So I need very, very strict rules for myself with that because I really need to think about using the whole body. Now, the moment I'm doing something like breaking rules, like whole body movement or breaking balance rules, principles better than rules, then I need to know that I'm doing that and try and realign more to them. So that's a really tricky area because this is inherently tricky. So the weapon work is actually where we work that system better, but I need to be able to do that just solo because we can't get trapped and lost in weapon work because that's a big, big danger to rely on a weapon or rely on any tool because there'll be days when you don't have it. How do I train? So just get a sense that just moving around with the hands and working appropriate with the handwork. And that doesn't mean even like thinking about ikkyo. It just means about thinking about structure. How do I raise the arm? How do I pass a spiral through the structure? How do I shift the weight across? And you're inevitably going to go into techniques, something that resembles a technique. It's just the nature of the training because we trained it into the body. I mean, think about how many ikkyos you've done in your life. Probably thousands. It's just almost embedded in the system, which is the point in the training. Yeah. That's it. Play with it a little bit. Yeah. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Okay, good. So we're going to go back to where we started. So when we looked at the Bokken work, you've got these three angles. You've got the 𝗄𝗵𝗶𝘀 straight line through the body. You've got the Yonkamanuchi, which is an angle. And then you've got the ski work, which is always going to be like a punch or a back fist. So I'm going to just work with the 𝗄𝗵𝗶𝘀 because it's the most clear. So just again, just start with the hand, and I just want you to pass the hand in at vertical. So just that, just that, just that. And there's a lot of range, you've got a lot of range of motion in this. And I don't mean about the shoulder, I mean in terms of the structure. So you can do different things with it, but it can arc out, can just reach the shoulder or the level of the heart. It can go here, it can go all the way up through the back. It can come up and then press out. So you've got a whole range of motion that you can do, which is all based on this central axis, passing through, passing up, passing down to the head. So you're going to inevitably start to think about technique and also atemi work, just by its nature of going to this position. So just explore it a little bit. And just think of all those points in the system when you do actions like this. Again, it's about making links between the bokken work, the weapon work, and the taijutsu. Yeah. Yeah, that's it. Again, explore the legs, moving around, stepping in. Yeah. Great. Yeah. So all of you have different characters, so you're all going to emphasize and go towards one kind of thing. Some of you are quite kind of soft, supple people. So you're going to start to use the hands in this kind of way. So you'll use them in this kind of supple nature. So this kind of work, which is really great. And other of you you've got striking backgrounds or something, and you're going towards these kind of movements. So you're thinking about kind of impacting with them. So those are basically the two angles. You've got this kind of receptive side of it, and you've also got this kind of striking positive side of it. This is like the yin yang of it, but know that you can explore both. But my nature is probably to go towards one than the other. But know that the system in Aikido is actually training both of them. But just get this feeling that you can go here, or think about the 𝗄𝗵𝗶𝘀 we do all the time, especially in our style. This one. So you've got all these kind of qualities, but you also use that angle as a receptive thing, coming back. So just play with it, but it's all based on that angle. And it's always going to be supple. That's the point. Even if you're attacking aggressively, it's going to still remain supple. Yeah. That's it. Okay, and then with a little twist of that movement, you've got the Yonkamanuchi. So all you need to do is go that and then twist it. So you just add a little bit of a twist from the hip, and then you're into the Yonkamanuchi. It's not inherently a different movement. You're still just raising the arm, but you're just applying a hip movement to it. So in the 𝗄𝗵𝗀, you've got that kind of movement, those kind of movements, that, and in the Yonkamanuchi, you've got something else. So the hip's going to add a kind of rotation to it. But again, it's not like 𝘄𝗁𝗏, so it's not like a hook. It's not this kind of work. It's something else. That. So just again, think about all the times you use Yonkamanuchi work, and you do those in an attacking state, attacking through, and you also do those in a receptive state, coming through. So just explore them. Sometimes you receive with that angle, and sometimes you attack with it. Yeah, that's it. That's it. Just exploring that kind of thing. Yeah, that's it. There we go, great. There we go. Okay, I'll show you one thing. If this is where, again, you can get lost a bit in fantasy land. If I get used to doing Yonkamanuchis maybe like this with the hand, and again, it's a bit like the Joe. I need to know what the target is, and I need to know what I'm hitting it with. So if I do an attack like that, and I'm doing something like this, and I translate that to makiwara, so boom, it just breaks all the fingers if I do it with any kind of force. So get a sense that what you're doing is really something else, where I know what the target is, and I know what the contact point in the hand is. This is where I go a little bit into atemi work, but it's the same with contact. I need to know the difference between trying to snatch the hand and blending with it and taking it away. Right, so this is all connected to us, whether it's atemi work, contact work, percussion or it's contact blending work. It's all the same for us. They're different aspects of the same thing. So just get a sense that what you're doing, you can use these kind of things or cushions, whatever, or even the wall, but get an idea of just a target. And I'm going to pass the whole structure through a specific point of contact. Play a little bit also, you don't have to strike with the hand. You can also strike with the elbow. So we're going to slightly unlock it now. So you're going to go like, this is a bit where it goes into hook punches and all this kind of stuff. But know that the target, you can also change it. So you've got the elbows. If you're used to kicks, you can go to the kicks. I'm not going to focus on them a little bit because we've not got time. But just know that you can start to open it out now. But know what your target is and really go through it. Yeah. Be specific, like just imagine yourself, if I was to hit something hard and with resistance and with speed, would the structure of the contact point take it? Would I break it? So if I'm attacking with something like that, I know that if I attack like this with the finger, it will break the finger. So also explore, you've got different contact points in the palm you can use, really useful. You can use slapping motions, super useful, very effective for shock and passing the whole body through it. So just play with it a little bit. And try and unlock the principles of the sword work. So whole body movement from the hip, connected to the ground, heavy body, supple. Boom, there we go. Okay, yeah. The main principle you learn from the sword work is this. Watch this. The main principle is not to throw the attack into the sword. So what you're doing is a dual action always with the sword. You're connecting to the ground and striking out. So that. So if you're confused a little bit about it, just grab the sword, do a few strikes with it. So 𝗄𝗵𝗆. Now know the difference between that and this, with the body's just grounded. So you want this kind of quality where I need to be really grounded, because if I throw myself into the strike, it might be useful, but I'm totally out of balance. So I'm not able to respond appropriately now to the next thing. So really get a sense that the weapon work is unlocked to the point where I can. Yeah. Also play with the sword in one hand, strike with the other. Get a feeling that you're really finding what's the point in all the weapon work we do. Why do we do all this for 𝗬𝗵𝗏 stuff? Why do we spend all this time on 𝗺𝗏? Why do we do all that kind of stuff? Unless it's just fun. Maybe it's just fun. There we go. That's it. This is where knives are useful as well. So if you've got a tanto around, you can also play with a tanto. Gives you kind of transition between weapon work and. That's it. Good. Yeah. Great. Got it. Nice. Yeah. That's it. Okay, the last one we've got is the ski work. So also it's just obvious. It doesn't need really any focus, but focusing on now the thrust. So you've got now something coming out from the body. So this is the basic vector we do when we do ski work. So something expanding out from the body, usually in a horizontal plane. Doesn't have to be, but just start with a kind of horizontal. So you've got karate background or anything striking background, just access it first like this. I'm not going to give any instruction on the punch, but just know that you're trying to unlock it from the sword work. So you can think about ski work. So sometimes take the 𝗄, play with it. What's the dynamic in that movement? How am I using the body? How can I translate that? How do I translate that dynamic? And go to real function. So really feel that every time you're striking it, you're striking through something. Yeah. So play with the 𝗄, play with the bokken, play with the knife, just play with the fist. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Main problem. Watch this. It's also true of the weapon work. The main problem of weapon work is that the focus becomes the only focus. So I have the movement and then wham, goes something like that. I do the punch and everything goes wham in the last 10% or the last 2%. It's not really like this. So you've got to have the sense that all the power is generating from here. So that all the power is here, 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 and then the end is just a snap. But it's not like this. This will, again, if I translate this to Makiwara stuff, it won't really go anywhere. So I go like this, soft, and then snap. Nothing. Nothing. It's just that. But I need to have the feeling like goes through it, like to the ground. You're passing through something, but the whole structure is in this part. The power is here, 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 that way. So just play with it a little bit. It's the same with the weapon work. The snap is not the power. The movement itself is the power. How you relate to the ground, through the hips, out into the periphery. Loosen you a little bit. That's it. Yeah, good. Okay, of all the movements we have, striking work, ski work tends to be the least grounded in terms of Aikido work. 𝗄𝗵𝗆uchi work, Yonkamanuchi, because it's kind of directly related to the sword work, we tend to have a better time with it. We can get more power through it. As soon as we go into strikes, there's something about the strikes. I blame all the early kung fu movies and karate stuff. So if I have the feeling like what I'm doing is like this, okay, it won't really go anywhere. So if I've got an image of what a punch should be like, I need to throw it away. So it's really not useful for me because it's just useless. It's just an image of what I think a punch should be. So I need to go again to effectiveness. So go to functionality, go to effective. I always go back to a slap or a push or a slap because it gives me direct feedback to the punch. So if I'm pushing like this, this is really weak. There's really no power in it because it's just the arm. So I need to get a feeling that what I'm doing is the whole body through it. So it doesn't require force because it's just movement at the end of the day. But I need to get away from this idea like I'm kind of, I don't know, all these kind of karate movies from the 60s, like wham, wham, wham. It's really not useful. So try and get away from it and get to something that's a bit more practical, a bit more grounded, which tends to be pushes, slaps, and I just go to function. Do I hit it? No. So you let the whole body go through it. Boom. So this is where for us in our style, we need to go back to the weapon work because that's where we're grounded. And as soon as I get lost in fantasy of like this kind of stuff, no, it's really ungrounded. So just go back to something quite practical. And this is where you practice all the day. So when you go shopping and you've got a big heavy shopping cart and you push it with the body, I can push it like this with the body and really strain, or I can connect to it and the whole body does it. So I can open a door like this, or I can just open the door and pass the body through it. So you train this kind of connection work all the time. That's the point. You need to connect to that kind of connection work. So I hope you don't kind of go through life like opening doors and pushing carts this way. You can be a lot more calm. Hopefully Aikido infects that. So this is where we're actually going in towards 𝗁𝗁 work. So atemi work's a roundabout way to get into 𝗁𝗁. But just get the sense that you're doing something practical again. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. That's it. Yeah, good. That's it. Very nice. Oh. Very good. Okay, the last 10 minutes or so, we're just going to play with combinations. So you've got really easy combinations. So you've got 𝗄𝗵𝗆uchi this way. You've got Yonkamanuchi this way. You've got ski work this way. And you've got all these kind of variations on the ski, like back fists and all this kind of stuff. Think about all the combinations, all the times we use atemi work in taijutsu, and all the times you go for a strike as an attacker. So we'll start with some really basic combinations. You just start like this. The main thing what I want to focus on just now is like Yonkamanuchi, same side. So we're going to do everything on the same side. So the right hand, Yonkamanuchi, and then as you come through, you're going to rotate through, find the ski this way. So I just want you to do a really simple combination. So the first one's going to come from the back side. this way, and then I want you to, how do I find the attack with the fist? So your partner's going to have moved, they're probably in the same place. So you're going to roll through, go with the strike. Okay? And there's loads of different ways you can do this combination, but just stick to this format. You've got one side, 𝗂𝗏𝗄𝐻, 𝗬𝗊. 𝗂𝗏𝗄𝐻, 𝗬𝗊. So just play with it, but make it playful as well. So it should be functional, serious, and playful. So you're just going to do 𝗂𝗏𝗄𝐻, 𝗬𝗊. 𝗂𝗏𝗄𝐻, 𝗬𝗊, just the same side each time. That's it. Yeah, there we go. Okay, there's one problem with generally Aikido people, and it comes up unfortunately from the sword work. There's a tendency to do everything the same foot, same hand. So there's a tendency that every attack needs to be here, here. And this will really screw up sometimes because it's not the appropriate response. So if you think about it, you can also attack from the backside. There's no problem doing that. It's actually more effective usually. So get the sense that you don't always have to limit yourself by doing the same side. I know we do it a lot in Aikido work. We do ski work and we do this. And we do Yokomen work and we do this. But it's not always the case. You don't need to do that. If I'm here, I just create the Yokomen from the backside. And we do that again in our system when we do this kind of work. When we do Yokomanuchi. So I'm creating a Yokomen, that. But I'm not changing the side to do it. It'd be really inefficient. Again, it's about being appropriate. So, and exploring possibilities. They're actually the same thing. The more possibilities that I have, the more appropriate I can be. That's it. Very nice. Yeah, good. There we go. Great. Okay, good. So add another attack to this. This is another back fist uraken. So this has a lot of versatility, but again, do the same combination. You go Yokomen, ski, uraken. Yeah, so you go 1, 2, 3. You can change sides or keep to the same side. It doesn't really matter. I tend to keep to the right side because it's my strong side. So the Yokomen, rotate, ski, uraken. And we just explore different combinations of bodywork. Again, think about all the times you use these in techniques. Maybe you don't explore them in combination, but it's something we explore a lot in training, especially in mock drill, also combination work with a temi or with strikes. And if you find yourself mixing them all up, good. So you can do Yokomen, back fist, ski. Just play with it, explore it. Nice. Okay, so the main rule we tend to break in Aikido when we go to a temi is this. We tend to do movement and then the strike. We move and then the strike. This is also like chambering the attacks. I go like, and then that. But when you use them in techniques, you think like Munadori. When I go across, whoa, it's one thing. So you only have one movement. You can't break a rule like this. One move, then the strike. You've broken a rule of 𝗬𝗏 work, which is like it needs to be one thing. The one time we practice all the time is in weapon work when we do midi 𝗬𝗏. One movement, one strike. So we're always training that. And if I can unlock that again in the system and make it playful, it's really important because I need to now think that one movement is one strike. One movement, one strike. One move, one strike. They're really the same thing. So this is whole body movement and not fragmented, adding strikes to movements. It's something else. That's it. So one move, one strike. It's the same thing. Just like when you do Gono Saburi, one strike, one move. One strike, one move. The same idea. Yeah, exactly. Go. There we go. There we go. Yeah. There we go. Nice. Good. There we go. Okay, good. A lot of the atemi work that's actually quite interesting is embedded within our bukidori. So when we do weapons taking, jodori, kendori, tantodori, a lot of that atemi work is within that. So you've got lots of interesting movements within those where you go like into these kind of positions or striking onto the wrist, coming down. So we've got a lot of it embedded within the weapons and especially in that section of the system. So if you know any of those systems or you know any of those movements from them, you've got a ton of movements where you've also got movements here. You've got movements kotegaishi like this. You've got movements striking the back of the head. You've got movements striking to the ribs. So just explore now slightly different approaches. And again, there's a ton of movements again just in the average taijutsu. One of the best, or the ones I really love, is the coming to the side with the uraken, or coming to the side to the head, or shomanuchi to the head. So just explore a little bit of atemi work from this idea now, where it's like I'm actually protecting myself and putting myself in a position where I can find atemi. It's all the atemi work is embedded within the system, so I don't need to look for it. I just need to reveal it in the movements. It's already there in the system. Yeah, that's it. And a lot of the kokyunage work has tons of atemi in it. And eventually all of the kokyunage work is kind of an atemi with the whole body. You watch someone like Shioda, then he does this whole body atemi work. Super, super clear. Yeah. There we go. There's this incredible video, Saito Sensei in Iwama, where he just goes through all these atemi variations. And it's just incredible. Yeah. Yeah, you've also got elbows. You can really strike with anything. Okay, I won't go too much into kicks. We've got only a few times, but most of the kicks we're going to do in Aikido in terms of defensive aren't these kind of kicks. So they're not kind of kicks you would learn in kickboxing or karate. Or actually, they are later, but what you're going to use is a kick which is quite low. So I should always be in a position where I can do a kick which is quite low. It's tends to going to be from the knee down. So the knee, the shin, the ankle, those are going to be my targets. I'm not going to tend to go in Aikido like above the ankle, above the hip with the knee. That's not really going to be an appropriate response because it really leaves me balancing on one leg, and we're not specialists in kicking, so I don't really want to enter into that. So when you do these, also think there's lots of movements when I can go in and make a very low strike. It's going to be to the shin, tends to be to the side of the knee, or also down onto the ankle. So there's lots of times in the old movements that you'll see in old video clips or in the old traditional Aikido series when you've got the temi waza to the feet, especially at the ankle. It's not an area we need to focus on, but it's also available. So really just know that how using the feet also facilitates a temi work as well.
I don't really see the feet, Michael.
Say again? You don't need to, no problem.
Okay.
Play with your own feet. You're just going to do like this, right? It's really quick. Boom.
And what part of your foot would typically have contact with the goal?
It depends, really. I mean, it can be the ball of the foot, the toes. It can be the side of the foot. It can be the heel. If I'm going to go onto the base of the foot, I'll stamp on the heel with the heel.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if I'm gonna try and break something, especially the bones in the foot, and I go on the heel. If I'm going to go for the knee or the side of the knee, I'm going to take the side of the foot and press it through. So something like that. But again, it's appropriate to the action really, or to the step of this kind of work. And essentially, again, it's just embedded in the footwork, so it's not adding anything. It's just slightly taking it to a different area.
Thank you.
Good, but just again, just play with it. That's it. Yeah. And kicking's a huge risk, so I don't want to really make such a huge move with it. Yeah, there we go. That was it. What you want, but just move around. You can play with shadowing techniques, but just find that there's moments when I'm really coming into a 𝗺𝗵𝗴𝗴𝗃, coming through underneath. All these kind of 𝗁𝗃 work's really valuable, so just play with it a little bit. 𝗺𝗵𝗴𝗃, ikkyo, all this kind of stuff. And if you feel like getting grounded, go back to the weapon work and just play with the weapon for a few minutes. Play with some combinations. Boom. Boom. That's it. Yeah. That's it. Okay, and then last minute, just take the sword. So you're just going to do now really from no position. So really work with the sword playfully. Last minute or so. Moving around. Again, just trying to relate to the sword as a thing. And then you've got all these parts to the sword and different kinds of actions and all these different movements of the body. Just start to play with the sword where it feels really quite free. You can use any part of the sword and different parts that have a different function. Just move around a little bit with it. Play with different kind of ideas. Really free with it. So include every kind of movement you can think about. Blocking movements, striking movements, slicing movements, rotation movements. Really whatever you like. That's it. Yeah. And especially exploring the back side of the bokken, something that we've not really talked about today, but the handle side and the pommel side, really very, very powerful tools in the sword. Especially as later when some parts of the system I'm really going towards neutralizing the person rather than maybe cutting the head off, bashing the head in. I want to control them. How do I do that?
Wow. Okay.
That's it. And also play with the bokken like it's a bokken, not a katana. So it means I can also really roll through it as well. So you can go into different kind of positions with, you really can treat it like what it is, which is a stick with a bit of a tapered end. So you can go into all these kind of movements. And I feel you can also go into taijutsu work as well. So unlock the principles of the sword work. What am I really doing when I do all those movements? And you'll inevitably just find yourself moving into positions that you're used to. Just follow them. There we go. Great. Okie dokie. We're going to stop there. So, okay. If you've got any questions, anything's not clear, you want any clarification, just let me know, or you can email me, whatever. And the main thing for me in this is I really love the system and I really appreciate it. And my intention is never to leave the system or go beyond it or any of these kind of things. It's actually just to play within it because it's super interesting. So, but my consideration is always towards function and efficiency and not towards just the system itself. So this is why I don't find so interesting doing just the 20 Joseph brewery or the it's just running through the system. It's not really interesting. Interesting if I unlock it to a level of principle and quality. But for me, it's much easier to just sometimes get out of the system, look somewhere else, and draw in some other influences as well. And then basically be very careful about the system, because it can be really a crutch for us in terms of development. But it really supports us at the same time. So we need a system. And you're always going to find yourself within a system. Pick one, do it well, and play with it. That's basically my advice. So, but you have total freedom within it. That's basically the thing. So, and martial arts are great for this because you have functional principles that underlie it. And I get instant feedback about being unfunctional, non-functional. So that's pretty much it. That's my approach to training. So that's kind of it. So we'll bow out together. If you've got any questions, feel free. 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 Okay. Totally. Yeah. Yeah.
Great, Michael. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael.
Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot. That was great.
Thank you, Michael.
Really great to
Bye.
see you.
Thank you very much, Michael.
Great, you're welcome. My pleasure.
Have a nice
Nice
weekend
work.
all.
Many thanks, Michael. Great.
Great, very good.
I always enjoy your workshops, Michael, but I think that for me that one was particularly good fun.
Good, great.
Really.
Yeah, same here, Catherine.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Mike.
Very nice.
Okay.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
It was great. It was a
Enjoy.
challenge, but
See
great.
some of you tomorrow.
See you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.
Oh, bye,
Thank
Dylan.
you.
Bye, Dylan.
Bye. Have a nice Sunday.
Have a nice Sunday.
nice
Have
Sunday.
a
Bye-bye.
nice Sunday. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. See you
Thanks
Monday.
a lot. See you.
Thanks a lot,
See you
Michael.
Michael,
Very much.
very quickly, who did you say in
Sure.
the last 10 minutes? You said something about some chap who does the atemi. Who was it that you said?
Say again.